what do you perceive to be the greatest threat to Bitcoin? From my perspective, I see two attack vectors, which we've been covering on Simply, which is the attack on proof of work mining. Because yes, Bitcoin might be proof of work, but energy production is proof of stake, right? So that's something that concerns me. But I don't believe it's that big of a deal because the incentives of mining are just too irresistible. Look at the example of China. However, where I do think though they might be slightly more successful is people taking self custody of their Bitcoin, right? Because that's the revolution. If you don't take self custody of your Bitcoin, you get none of the benefits. You might be looking at your Robinhood app and saying, oh my God, I got 10 Bitcoin. I have all this money, right? But no, you don't. Robinhood has to, has to honor that they give it to you. What if there's a 6102 for Bitcoin? And no, you don't have that. You only have that Bitcoin if you take self custody. So, what are your thoughts? What do you think are the biggest threats? Why do you say if?
So when I say if, like I truly believe that like Bitcoin is a better incentive system, right? Bitcoin is a better monetary system. Bitcoin is a better energy management system with its distributed proof of work. So, but at the same time, it's kind of like a complex game theoretical system. It requires things to play out in the way that is kind of like logically assumed within the system. So, in my opinion, like I'm not worried about mining getting banned. I'm not worried about self custody. Personally, I think those are all lessons that people who don't learn, who haven't learned the lessons of the past, they will learn the lessons of the future. And some lessons are cheap and some lessons are expensive. That is not going to affect Bitcoin on the system level. What I'm more concerned about is like, does the game theory break down?
Mm.
Are people going to keep mining it? Are people going to be incentivized to store it? Are people going to be are people going to continue to adopt it? And what's going to drive that forward? Personally, I think for me, the answer is definitely yes, but it is productive as someone who is trying to navigate an uncertain future to at least consider the circumstance that okay, it might not work, and if it doesn't work, what do I do to prepare myself? Because I really do think like Bitcoin is binary. Either it works and it becomes global reserve currency or it doesn't. I think that this period of time right now is an aberration in Bitcoin's history, which is that Bitcoin is another asset. Like there's this whole playing field of assets with charts that are trading against the dollar, and you can get store of value in different ways and you can speculate on this stuff. Like that is not the future of Bitcoin. It's either Bitcoin is the denominator or Bitcoin is irrelevant. And depending on how the game theory kind of plays out, and if the game theory works and the incentive system works, like that is what's going to determine if Bitcoin wins. So I do think that like all of the bad things that could happen, they probably will happen and the world will be better for it because people need to snap out of their fiat mindset.
Mm.
This is something I was telling you yesterday, but like money is an operating system.
Mm.
Everyone is on their local fiat operating system. Maybe they're on the dollar operating system, like as a globe, but we need to start moving to a Bitcoin operating system mentally. That takes time. It happens on an individual level, but that's also why you start seeing Bitcoiners acting different, right? Because we're
Mm-hmm.
literally on a different value operating system in our heads. So, like, to bridge over from like crappy fiat operating system to like the Bitcoin operating system, like it takes pain, it takes experience, it takes a lot of different things. It's a really an individual journey, I think. So I think we need to be empathetic. We need to be humble. We need to realize that transitioning systems on a global level is going to be, is going to be turbulent, and there's going to be a lot of volatility. But at the same time, it's happening on an